Hello?
Hey, we're here.
Well, how was your flight?
The flight was long, but we're fine. Right now we're getting...
A Friday night we'd meet, and if I felt like it was okay for you to come out, I'd let you follow me home. If I felt like there was something about you that I didn't like, I'd say, we'll meet again, and I'd never meet with him again. We don't do this right off the bat. Sorry. When I met Mr. Hands, we did talk on the phone a little bit. And that's when he lived in Seattle. He was basically curious, like everybody was curious. And he had a good personality, so I invited him out.
I was just astounded at the beauty. You have that wildness, but then you have civilization too. It just kind of meshed together.
Us humans are so conditioned from the time we were born to start categorizing. And even if they're unconscious, or even subconscious, we start categorizing. Animals just not going to do that.
We'll be landing in Seattle in just under...
You're either a good person or a bad person.
The biggest of all munitions companies, Lockheed Martin Corporation, playing an important behind-the-scenes role in developing support for Bush's war with Iraq.
Yes, they did. They played a very influential role in various organizations that looked like they were simply public interest, public education organizations, but which had long advocated a war with Iraq ever since the 1991, the first war with Iraq. It's been to their, that is, war is the business. What I mean when I say it's not private enterprise is it is much more like state socialism. You have only one customer. The customer is not particularly interested in getting the best possible use of his money. He's much more interested in simply getting the contracts filled. Moreover, there's a huge circulation of elites today in the sense that most of the operating positions, appointed positions in the Pentagon today are executives from the military-industrial complex, whereas by contrast, any number of the high officials in these companies are retired, high-ranking American military officers.
Well, I want to thank you for being with us.
Chalmers Johnson. His piece appears in this month's Harvard Post. Harper's. It's called War Business Squeezing a Profit from the Wreckage in Iraq, as well as David Bacon. The piece appears in Progressive Magazine. Chalmers Johnson piece ends. This is the future when war becomes the most profitable.
I get, 8 or 10, 15 people at the house. Drink, party, watch movies, play games.
Kind of potluck supper kind of thing. Some people would bring over some beans and chips and a meat entree or something. And of course, lots of beer. And once in a while, there was a few mixed drinks. It was kind of fun throwing all kinds of stuff into the blender and turning out things that kind of had a slushy flavor to them that about 6 or 7 of them would knock you on your ass. I'm going to put so many bottles of rum in some of this stuff. There's no special flashy, nothing going on that was all that strange and unusual. I mean, this goes on hundreds and thousands of places all over the country. Age was never really all that important, as long as you were old enough to drink. You weren't senile and could talk coherently, conversation would always ensue.
Do you wear boxers or a thong? Yeah.
It was pretty much a classless society of our own little small world. No one had any kind of different statuses and who was this and who was that. There was no alphas and omegas and betas in it running around anywhere.
Being able to get away, just let everything hang. Anything I could bring up or want to talk about, it didn't matter what was on my mind. These were people I could trust. I could just let my hair down and not have to worry about things.
There was things in him that if you really didn't want people to know, he wouldn't tell you. He wouldn't tell you the truth. It took me a long time to find out his real name. And it was about a year before I knew Mr. Hans' real name. It was always Mr. Hans. I go by Mr. Hans.
The flag and stuff that they put on the moon, that it looks like it's waving in the breeze. You know that, of course there's no atmosphere on the moon at all.
People would come out, we'd walk out into the barn, and I'd show them my horses, and I'd show my bulls, and they'd ask me different questions about them. I'd tell them what this was and what that was. How come his legs up like that? It's because he's resting. It wasn't the fanciest place in the world. It had cows in it, so there was crap all over the floors, there was horse shit all over the floors. The horses would come in and out, and the bulls would come in and out. It was just like, hey, let's go out to the barn and pester the animals. Well, there they are, go ahead. Just be careful, because if you stand too long in one place, it's gonna happen. If you just stand there, they'll walk up behind you, put their head on your shoulder, and talk to you. They're gonna pick up that pheromone your body's putting off, they're gonna mount you. If you don't move, you're bred. And I mean bred. There was times that people come over expecting it, and no, it never happened.
We had one horse that we called Chance when we brought him in. He was blind, and he was in this area where it was just nothing but blackberry bushes. So he kept poking himself in the eye. We ultimately had to remove both of his eyes because he had re-injured himself so many times trying to forage for food. I mean, it touched all of us very deeply. When we took that horse to the veterinary hospital, we were advised to put him down. But our feeling and our experience has been that just because it has a problem like blindness, that's not a good enough reason to just end their life.
One of the things we found fascinating about the story is that the news media in the Puget Sound would not reveal the name of the victim. We believe we have the name of that man. We talked to somebody who worked with this guy. We talked to someone who got a memo at work about the death of this guy. We talked to people who told us that federal employees were coming in saying this name is never, ever, ever to be given out.
My name is Pam Roach, and I'm the state senator that covers the area of Enumclaw and all the lovely area on the Enumclaw Plateau. It's a beautiful area, as you can see. There are a lot of farms, a lot of people that love to have animals on these farms, and a great place to raise children. I could never believe that an animal would do this on their own. We don't allow adults to abuse children sexually. Children cannot consent. Children are innocent, and so are animals. They cannot consent, and they're innocent.
Mrs. Edwards, ready to rescue those horses?
It was a nice little town. It's not the big city. You don't have to deal with the hustle, the bustle, and the crime rate. Mostly you see in the paper, somebody's trash can gets knocked over, or the drunk next door neighbor comes over and pissing on their tires. It was not a town that had a whole lot going on in it. It was quiet. There was a couple Chinese food restaurants. There was a Mexican food restaurant we go to quite a bit. Quite a few different places to go eat at. We're not isolated out there. We like the rural setting, but you're not, dropped in the middle of nowhere.
Him and his ex-wife got along really well. He talked to her on the phone all the time. She seemed like a nice girl. Since the divorce, they got to be best of friends. They were still friends up until the day he died. The type of work he did was basically top secret. I knew what he did. I knew exactly what he did and how he went about doing it, but it was just something that we discussed that was never to be talked about.
I think at one time he was very conservative. After a while, things started changing. Things started opening up in front of him. He was going, this really doesn't seem right to me. Something about this just is kind of wrong.
I had a apple tree, fir tree, and a weeping willow. And otherwise it was all open pasture.